everyone, and welcome to Boys and Girls Club of Greater St. Louis online virtual programming. My name is Miss Elise, and today I'm so happy that you've joined us because we are going to be going over our program, Be a Star. Thank you so much for taking the time to be present with us. I hope everyone is staying safe and as well, and I'm really excited for our activity. So let's get started. So a little bit of background about the Be a Star program before we jump in is the World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE for all my wrestling fans out there, partnered with the Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence as well as the Boys and Girls Club of America to create the Be a Star program. The STAR part in the Be a Star program stands for Show Tolerance and Respect. In this program, we learn about our social and emotional skills and ways that we can strengthen them. So something that we can build upon with our emotional intelligence is using the RULER acronym. And today specifically, we're going to be focusing on the R part of the RULER, which stands for recognizing emotions with ourselves and in others. Now let's get started. So for the activities that we're going to be doing today, all you need for materials wise is just a piece of paper and a writing utensil. So for today's lesson, we're going to be talking about our emotions throughout the day. So the objectives and goals for this in particular activity that we're going to be doing will be to increase and strengthen our emotional self-awareness, help everyone gauge their feelings throughout the day, and then we're also going to be creating a daily routine chart. Before I start any lesson, I love to incorporate the word of the day. The word of the day usually relates to the activity that we're about to do, and for our word of the day, we're going to be focusing on mindfulness. So feel free to repeat after me or follow along. But mindfulness is paying attention here and now with kindness and curiosity, then choosing our behavior. Mindfulness is the practice of being present. And right now, with everything that's going on in this time of uncertainty, we are going to be taking some time to practice being mindful of the feelings that we're experiencing throughout the day. So before we get into our next exercise, let's take a moment and really just practice a simple way to be mindful right here, right now. So I want you, at your own pace and rate, to try to practice in this moment, what do you notice? A great exercise or way to tune into things that we notice are our senses. So let's start with our sense of hearing. What is a sound that you can hear from the furthest distance away? So take a moment and try to hear the furthest sound away. For me, I hear dogs barking outside. That's the furthest sound that I can hear away. What's yours? How is everyone feeling after that exercise? Now that we have a better understanding of what mindfulness is, thanks to Dr. Amy Saltzman, who provided that definition and exercise through A Still Quiet Place, her book, we're going to use what we learned and incorporate it into our first activity, the internal weather report. Now for this activity, we're going to be checking in with ourselves and self-assessing our current mood. So for this activity, if our mood were to represent a certain type of weather, what would our mood be? So let's take a look over here. I've got a sun and clouds, clouds and some rain, a rainbow, lightning, and a tornado. I want you all to just take a moment, think about what you're feeling right here and now, and if your mood were to be a weather, what weather would it be? So I'm going to be walking through this example of a routine, but feel free to adapt it and change it to whatever works best for you. There's a time, activity, and then examples of what you can do within that time frame. So starting with before 9 a.m., let's say you wake up, what are some activities or things that you can do within that time frame? I might eat a hearty breakfast. I could brush my teeth and wash my hands, practicing good health hygiene. And then also getting dressed. Even though we might not be leaving our homes right now, it's still really important that we're still acting as if we are having a sense of our regularness in our routine. So it helps us being more productive, and then also feeling again like ourselves and our regular routine that we had. We're creating our new routine. From the 9 to 10 time frame, we are going to be doing some type of movement or exercise. That could be going on a walk if you're into yoga, or even any type of exercise video you can pull up on YouTube. There's a lot of content out there to just, again, encourage us to move our bodies. When we're moving our bodies, we're creating more blood flow and oxygen that's being sent throughout, especially to our brains, which helps us think more clearly and able to transition into our next time frame of 10 to 11 for academics. Even though we might not be in school, it's still, again, very important that we're staying on top, we're finishing the school year strong, and that means we can take an hour break from our electronics to complete any assignments that we have. If we are able to check in with any of our teachers virtually, sending an email, this is a great time to do that. We are all here for each other together, we're going through this together, and let's use this time wisely. For our 11 to 12 time frame, I put creatives. I think it's good to have that brain break, What that might mean is maybe drawing, if you like to draw, or if you're into music, you can either listen to music, write music if that's what you're into as well, cooking, whatever your creative expression is or outlet. Invest this time. Take a brain break from your academics and transition into something creative. 12 to 12:30, lunch. Don't forget to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds before we eat. From the 12:30 to 1, if you're able to help out, if you have any chores assigned to you, this might be a good time to just get them done and over with, but also cleaning up. Remember, in everything that's going on, we're having to practice more good, healthy habits and hygiene routines. So that means wiping down heavily used surfaces. So if that's light switches, any type of doorknobs, or our tables, chairs, things that we can, again, help prevent any type of spread of germs and make sure that we're living as cleanly and healthily as possible. From the 1 to 2:30 time frame, I put quiet time. So relax and recharge, read, maybe journal, do some puzzles. If you need a nap, take some time to take a quick power nap. The 2:30 to 4 time frame could be for academics. And then also from the 3 to 4, we've got our BGCSTL virtual program. So thank you again for joining today. This can be, again, some time that you can check back in. We do our own programs, which are educational and also fun for everyone. But this isn't time as well. If you weren't able to finish everything early in your day, you've given yourself some opportunities to recharge, get that brain break. Can you go back to it and finish strong, complete anything that you need to complete? And again, of course, check out BGCSTL's virtual programs. The 4 to 5 time frame, again, fresh air. Open a window if it's nice outside, if you're able to go on a walk, or again, some type of movement. Get your body movement. We're not able to, since we're at the stay-at-home order, maybe move our bodies as much as we're used to. So it's really important that we're still creating that time in our days that we're moving our bodies. 5 to 6, that might be a little early, but dinner time, help with prep. If there's anything that you can do to help around the house with prepping for dinner or meals, that's a great way to help contribute. And then also, again, don't forget to wash our hands. The 6 to 8 time frame might be free time, it might be dinner time still, whatever. Again, change it and adapt the schedule. It's just an example. But yeah, use this time for self-care. So what do you do to take care of yourself? Is that, again, maybe having quiet time? Is that being around others virtually? Could you check in with some of your friends, either on the phone, text, calling? What can you do to have that connection? This is also a great time to have fun family time. If anyone's ever played Heads Up, that's a really good family fun game. But that's an app, I would check that out. Or even dance, TikTok. We have our own BGCSTL TikTok. I encourage y'all to check it out as well. But in this free time, what can we do to take care of ourselves, connect with others in whatever way that is that works best for you, and then making sure that we're also getting ready to recharge and get on for the next day. So that means healthy hygiene as well, showering, brush our teeth, washing our clothes, or maybe washing our sheets, making sure, again, we're just keeping everything as clean and staying as healthy as possible. And then as we transition into the 9 to 10 time frame, we're unwinding and we're getting ready to rest and trying to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So this is just an example. Change it however you'd like, but I want to challenge you to really create that routine. Routines are a great way to establish certainty. We know what's to come next. There's consistency, and that's helpful for the time that we're going through all together. So for our final activity, we are going to be using the mood meter, which is actually incorporated in further sessions in Be a Star. So for anyone who's already had me in person for groups, this should look familiar. But for today, for our final activity, we're going to be doing the emotional timeline. The emotional timeline is actually going to be a combination from the first 2 activities. So what we learned from the first activity, from the internal weather report, was being present and checking in with our current state of feeling. What were we feeling in that mood, and what weather did that represent? In the second activity, we created our own routine, or you will be creating a routine that you would like to be doing or implementing maybe next week starting. And from that routine, what activities are you doing consistently throughout your day, and how are you checking in with yourself throughout the day and noticing how your emotions are changing or progressing? I'm going to be using the example that I created, but feel free to use your own schedule or routine that you created. So this morning, when I woke up, I felt tired. When you started your day, what was happening and how are you feeling? Take a minute, on a separate sheet of paper, write that out. For the second activity, it says movement or exercise. When I woke up and was able to go on a walk, I felt really energized. I felt ready to go. Cleared my mind, had my blood flowing, and I was ready to have a productive day. Following that, academics. Even though I might not have academics, I do still have to do work-related things, such as recording a virtual program. So, work. I think whenever anyone does a lot of work, a feeling that they might have would be productive. Transitioning maybe into the lunchtime frame. Before I ate lunch, I was feeling hungry. Then after, I might have actually felt a lot more energized. same activity, but notice how the before and after, before I had lunch, I was really hungry. I might have been even a little hangry. And then after I ate, I felt good to go. I recharged, replenished myself, and was ready to get back to work. Then following that, for me personally, it was going back to work, but I'm also doing something creative right now. So this could be creative time, let's say virtual program. And a feeling that I'm having is I'm very, very, very happy to be here right now. So this is just an example or a walkthrough that I did. I want you to take the next couple of minutes and reflect on your day so far. What activities have you done? And take a second, remember back to our first activity for the internal weather report. What were you feeling during that activity? Do you remember? Take some time. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes and we'll check back in. So for our final discussion reflection question, I'm going to ask you, what did you learn about your feelings throughout the day? Take time now to leave a comment below or just self-reflect. As we conclude our group today, you have done a lot, and I hope that you feel that you have increased and strengthened your emotional self-awareness, that you have a better gauge on maybe the feelings you have throughout the day, and you are able to create a routine that hopefully will work best for you. Remember, we are all going through this together. You are not alone, and I am so grateful that you chose to spend your time today joining us for this virtual online program for Boys and Girls Club of Greater St. Louis. If you have any questions about what you've heard or what we went over today, please do not hesitate to reach out to or respond in the email gotquestions@bgcstl.org, and I will return those questions or answer those questions as soon as possible. Again, I hope everyone is staying safe and taking care. Thanks so much.